Hello everyone. In this video today we are going to discuss about direct speech and indirect speech. We are going to discuss like what is direct speech, what is indirect speech, and what are the specific rules that one should keep in mind while they are intending to make a change from direct speech to indirect speech. So let's begin with. To start with, I would like to explain like what is direct speech and what is indirect speech. In order to explain this thing, I am quoting an example. In this example, we are having a sentence like Ram said, comma. In the inverted comma, we are having I am well. So in this particular case, what we are seeing that the subject Ram, he is actually the speaker. Now the speaker is himself making out his point. Like he is himself saying that he is well. So this representation in this sentence, it is in the first form. Like the speaker is making his own representation. So any representation which is in the first form, we generally call it direct speech. Or to just narrate it a bit simply, we can say that when the speaker is making his direct representation, we generally say that it is in the direct form or direct speech. Whereas if we are quoting another example, we are just quoting this particular thing, this particular sentence in a different way. Like here we are saying, Ram said that he was well. So in this case also, Ram is the subject, but the difference lies that Ram is not the speaker. He is not making the narration. Actually, this is a third person who is describing like what the speaker has said prior. So in this particular case, what we are seeing that the entire representation is made in the third form through a third party. So any representation which is made in the third form through a third party where the speaker is not directly quoting his own term, we generally say that it is in the indirect form. So this is the basic difference between direct speech and indirect speech. So in case we are getting a sentence, we are first supposed to understand whether it is in the direct form or whether it is in the indirect form. So I am just doing a little bit of recapitulation. I am just telling you that if a sentence is in the direct form, we should keep in mind that the representation should be made by the speaker himself. Whereas if it is in the indirect form, then the representation is not made by the speaker himself, but it is made by a third party. So this is the first thing, like I have explained what is direct speech, what is indirect speech. Now let's get back to that sentence what we have discussed right now. In this particular sentence, what we are seeing that Ram said, comma, in the inverted comma, we are having I am well. So this particular thing said, it is called reporting verb. This particular reporting verb, we need to understand that what is the tense of this particular reporting verb. In this particular case, what we are seeing that it is in the past form. Now let's get back to the sentence in the inverted comma. So that is I am well, right? Now here we are supposed to find out the verb. Now the verb over here is am. Now am means it is in the present form. So in this particular case, what we are seeing that the reporting verb, it is in the past form, and the verb of the reported speech, that is of the sentence in the inverted comma, that is in the present form. When a situation like this arises, that the reporting verb is in the past form and the reported speech, verb of the reported speech in the present form, then it is changed into the corresponding past form. Like am is are, it becomes was were, and if we are having has have, then it becomes had or had been, right? In this particular case, let me once again quote the example. So what we are seeing in the direct form, it is being given as Ram said, comma, in the inverted comma, I am having I am well. Now when we are just quoting the same thing in the indirect form, what we are saying Ram said that He was well. Now, what are the noticeable changes that we are finding when we are making a change from the direct form to the indirect form? The first noticeable change that comes to us is that the first person is changed into the third person. Like in the direct form, we are having I, and in the third indirect form we are having he, that is in the third form. That is the first change, that whenever we are making a change from the direct form to the indirect form, then we are having a change in the first person to third person, right? That is the first noticeable change. Now when we are making this change, in place of comma we are putting that in the indirect form. And then there has been a noticeable change in the tense, like what I have quoted right now, that when the reporting verb, we should see the reporting verb and we should understand that what is the tense of the reporting verb. If it is in the past form and the tense of the verb in the reported speech is in the present form, then it is changed to the corresponding past. Okay, now this change of tense, actually there are several conditions what we will be discussing right now in order to understand like how this change actually comes into place. Whenever there is a change from the direct form to the indirect form, how this change of tense takes place, we will just explain it step by step, right? So we have done the first thing, like we have explained that if the reporting verb is in the past tense and the verb of the reported speech it is in the present tense, then it is changed into the corresponding past form. Now let us discuss another example. So if I am just saying this particular thing like Ram said, comma, in the inverted comma we are writing I was well. Ram said, comma. So in the inverted comma I am writing I was well. So in this particular case what we are seeing that the reporting verb is in the past form and the verb of the reported speech, that is was, it is also in the past form. So this is the second condition when we are having the reporting verb in the past tense and the verb of the reported speech also in the past tense. If a thing like this happens, then was were, which we generally quote as simple past, it becomes had or had been. That is, the simple past changes into past perfect, right? So this is the rule. Or if we are having a verb in the reported speech in the past continuous, then it is changed into past perfect continuous. Okay, so this is the general rule what we need to know. If we are having both the reporting verb and the verb of the reported speech in the past tense. Now let us quote the third condition. If we say something like this, Ram says, comma, in the inverted comma I am writing I am well. Then the reporting verb to be noted over here is in the present form. Whenever the reporting verb is in the present form, then what happens? We generally don't change the tense of the verb in the reported speech. So it will remain as it is. As it is means it will remain in that particular form. If it is in the present tense, it will remain in the present tense. If it is in the past tense, it will remain in the past tense. So I just quoted the example to make you understand this thing. So I quoted the example in the direct form. Let me quote the example. Let me put about the change in the indirect form. So what I said in the direct form, Ram says, comma, in the inverted comma we are writing I am well. So when we are just putting up this thing in the indirect form, then what we are saying, Ram says, in place of comma we are writing that, in place of I, that is in the first form, we are writing he, that is in the third form, is well, means there is a no change in the tense of the verb. So in the direct form it was in the simple present tense, or to put it up more simply, it was in the present tense, and in the indirect form also we are just retaining the present form. Okay, now we are quoting another condition. Let's say if I put up an example like this, Ram will say, comma, in the inverted comma I am writing I am well. So here the reporting verb to be noted is in the future tense, right? So when we are just effecting a change in this direct speech, then how it will be represented? It will be represented as Ram will say. In place of comma, we will write that. In place of I, we will write he is well. So, whenever the reporting verb is in the present tense or in the future tense, then the tense of the verb in the reported speech, it does not change. It remains as it is. So, these are some of the conditions what we need to keep in mind when we are just effecting a change in the tense of the verb from the direct form to the indirect form. Apart from this, let me quote another condition when we are having a universal truth. Like if I say something like this, Ram said, comma, in the inverted comma, I am writing oil floats on water, or let's say the sky is blue, anything. So these are actually universal truth, means it will never change. If I say something like this, that oil floats on water, it means an universal truth. If I say something like this, that the sky is blue, again it's an universal truth. So this will never change. So if we are having an universal truth in the reported speech, then what happens? It does not change. It remains as it is. So in both the cases, how we are supposed to make the representation in the indirect form? We are supposed to say, Ram said that the sky is blue, or Ram said that oil floats on water. So these are some of the basic principles what we need to know, what we need to keep in our mind while we are making a change from the direct form to the indirect form. So before concluding this video, I am just recapitulating what I have said all through, right? So to start with, I would say that first thing what we need to do about direct speech and indirect speech is we need to identify whether it is in the direct form or whether it is in the indirect form. Now in order to do so, we need to know what is direct speech, what is indirect speech. Direct speech refers to those speeches where the representation are made by the speaker in the first person, and indirect speech refers to those speeches, means those sentences where the representation is not made by the speaker, rather it is made by a third party on behalf of the speaker. This is the preliminary condition to know whether a particular sentence is in the direct form or it is in the indirect form. Now when we are effecting a change from the direct form to the indirect form, what are the parameters that we need to keep in mind? The first parameter is that we need to check the tense of the verb, means of the reporting verb. If the reporting verb is in the past tense and the verb of the reported speech, that is the verb of the sentence in the inverted comma, that's what we call as reported speech. If it is in the present tense, then there will be a change into a corresponding past form. If the tense of the verb, reporting verb, it is in the present or future tense, then there will be no corresponding change in the tense of the verb of the reported speech. As well as when the reported speech actually highlights a universal truth, then there will be no change. It will remain as it is, right? So we have quoted these examples, we have made the explanation, and we have tried to make you understand the concept of direct speech and indirect speech and how we are supposed to effect a change from the direct form to the indirect form. So definitely I think that the content of this video will be helpful to the students up to class 12 as well as to those people who are appearing for the civil service exam. So if you find the content of this video to be helpful, then please give a like, share and subscribe our channel. And if anyone is interested to join our classroom program in Foresight Education, we are providing the contact details. Thank you everyone. God bless you.